So Texas Instruments just came out with a new graphing calculator. It's called the TI-84 Evo, and it's intended to be the successor to the TI-84 Plus CE. Some of the improvements that are being heavily hyped are the larger graphing area, the USB-C charger, and the icon-based home screen. In this video, I'll compare the TI-84 Evo to the TI-84 Plus CE to see what's new and what's still the same, and decide if it's better for you if you're in the market for one of these or if you're just looking to upgrade. First, I'll say that the TI-84 Plus and then the CE models after that, as well as its predecessors, the TI-83 Plus, the 83, the 82, and the 81, have been the gold standard for graphing calculators since the 1980s. The technology in these calculators has not substantially changed in all this time, only adding a few features here and there. This new one, the Evo, does have different technology in terms of the operating system inside. However, its features and capabilities are nearly identical to TI-84 Plus CE. So what's different, and does it warrant upgrading? Let's look at them side by side. Looking at the keypad, you notice a few things. Here we have the exponent button on the CE, and the Evo has it over here. On the Evo, you have the nth root button right here, where on the CE, you would have to get nth root from the math menu, number 5. However, it is still there, so that's not a substantial improvement. You'll notice this button, x to the -1, has disappeared, but it's pretty easy to just put a -1 exponent by using this button. When you're typing on here, if you wanted to change something, you just go over it and you type right over it. It's overwrite. If you want to insert, you have to do second insert and then type the extra digit, and it inserts the extra digit or character. Over here, the default is that it's already in insert mode. However, you can easily change that using this button, and now it becomes overwrite mode. Something notable here is that we have now the dedicated fraction button right there. You can press it and type something on the top, arrow down, type something on the bottom. Well, we have that here too. It's just in a menu. So math, frac, and you can do that there too. If you look in the mode on both of these, you can see here we have radian and degree, and here we have radian, degree, and gradian. Gradian is kind of an obscure thing for high school students to use. In all the students I've ever worked with, we've never used gradian. You can see on the keypad where the plus, minus, times, divide are. They're moved up one key. What happens then is that if somebody tells you to find the pi on the exponent button on this calculator, here it's going to be that the pi is on the divide button, and the E is on the times button there, and here the E is on the divide button. Just go with whichever one your teacher is planning to teach with if you don't already have one, because then it'll just make it easier to follow which buttons to press. And one other thing we notice is that here we have the keys with the main feature printed on the key, and then the features that you would have to press the second or the alpha to get to, those are above the keys. So all the blue ones that are printed kind of on the background above the key, you would press second to get to them, the blue ones, and all the green ones, you would press alpha to get to them. And here we have everything printed on the same key. It looks, I don't know, looks a little cleaner, I guess. Both calculators come in a variety of colors. To me, that would not be a deciding factor. But let's turn it on. Take a look at what happens when we just press on. It took a little while longer for this one to start up, and actually it takes even longer when you start it up cold. I was turning it on and off before this. But you can see this starts up to just already the calculation screen, so you can go right ahead and start doing calculations. And here, if you're going to start doing calculations, you're going to press, like there I pressed the 8. It shows the 8th app on the menu. So now you're going to have to press quit and get back out to there. So that's a little bit annoying if you're not used to it, but let's turn it back on again. So here we have the app menu. It looks more modern. It looks like a smartphone or a tablet, but it isn't a touch screen. You have to find the app that you want using these arrows. All of these apps are also available in the button that says apps. So if you're not using the apps every single time you put the calculator on, then it's better to have them in a button that says apps and on a list. And what happens is, when you turn it on and you get to here, you now have to press this home button. There's an extra button to press just to get to this screen to do calculations, which is probably what you wanted to do when you turned on the calculator. Now let's look at the graphing. I have it loaded up with 2 functions to graph, and I will press graph at the same moment. This one graphed a lot faster. It's a second or two. It's not a big difference in terms of your ability to see the picture relatively quickly. So I would say it's slightly better, but in the long term, that is probably not going to make a big difference to you. You can see the size of the window, which is one of the things that they really hyped on this calculator, is the graphing screen is bigger. It takes up the whole screen. And over here, it has this gray border around it, which I never noticed until I had this calculator next to this one. But I guess this does show more. One other thing is the charger. So over here, we have this kind of charger. I believe it's a Mini A. Today, pretty much everything uses USB-C, so they've gone with USB-C, which does make it easier to just pull a charger out of the drawer, even if it's not the one that came with the calculator. So that's great. Otherwise, these 2 calculators are pretty much identical in terms of what they do. If you're going to buy one new, I would just go with whichever one your teacher wants you to get. And if you don't have a specific recommendation, just really it's a toss-up. Maybe buy whichever one's less expensive or whichever one has the color you like better. If you're going to have a lot of programs in it, I suppose this one will hold more, but in all the programs I've ever written, they've never touched the capacity of this one. So my opinion is don't upgrade. If you already have this calculator, there's no need to buy this one because it's not substantially better. However, if you have the TI-84 Plus, the one that doesn't say CE here, and the screen is not in color and you like it to be in color because you can see it better. If you're buying a brand new one to upgrade that feature, still it's a toss-up between these 2. The one thing that this does not have, but if you got the one that said Python on the end of here, you would be able to have Python programs on this calculator, and the Evo also has that built in if you care about that. And that's all. So I hope I've helped you make a decision. Bye.